and memorabilia I've collected around the world. This is a priceless thing. My first concert ever.
Amazing.
The Victory Tour. Michael Jackson and the brothers signed that Pepsi can. Look at that.
Wow.
1984, yo.
Welcome to the GTA Advisors Podcast. We interview Greater Toronto Area business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. Our goal is to bring Greater Toronto Area residents the best advice from our community's brightest minds. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and real estate innovator, Robert Caruso.
Welcome everyone to the GTA Advisors Podcast. Robert Caruso here. I'm here with Teria Morada from Azucar Picante Ent. Welcome, Teria.
Hi.
So I want to welcome you to the podcast and to share a little bit of your vast knowledge of music, the industry, entertainment. So maybe before we start talking about you professionally and what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where have you been before you got into this entertainment business, or maybe you were born into it? Who knows? But
I was.
I had a feeling you were. But anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe non-professionally for now.
I know it's hard to separate the two things because I've been doing it my whole life. I started dancing when I was 3. My mother noticed that I couldn't stop moving from when I was, about able to walk. So she would go to the gym and take me to ballet class. So that's how I got my start in ballet, 3 years old. And I have not stopped since, pretty much.
It's incredible. Yeah. So, okay. So what started you down the path? I mean, we obviously know what started you on the path, but how did you decide to get into this, like as a full-time business, let's say?
Actually, there was a little discouragement along the way. A lot of people, I'm not going to say who, but there was people that were like, are you crazy? You think you can make a living out of this? This has got to be a secondary thing. You know, that whole spiel, right?
I do.
I started to have these great achievements at a young age. So I think that people started to, oh, well, maybe this is her calling, I was winning competitions at, very young and won a Canadian title at 12 in rhythmic gymnastics. And so people started taking me a little bit more seriously. My mom was always a supporter, always driving me and taking me to dance and swimming and skating and gymnastics, everything, until she finally decided, she said, you got to pick one and stick to it. You're going to either be a jack of all trades, master of none, or you're going to stick to something. So I stuck actually into rhythmic gymnastics and dance and stayed there. And basically the rest is history. When I started getting booked on commercials and started to get paid for things, then people started taking me a little bit more seriously. And I was like, I even tried to be like a normal 9-to-5 person. I worked in a printing shop. My stepbrother's friend had a printing shop, and I worked there. And I worked in my brother's office, my uncle's office, as a secretary. They tried to put me behind a desk, and I was just like, I don't belong here.
The soul just doesn't want to be there. Your inner soul just says, nope, not going to happen. So tell me, Terry, where were you? Were you born here in Canada? Were you?
Yeah, I was born in Toronto, North York General Hospital, Jane and Finch. And I lived here until my mid-20s and then took off to Los Angeles for 12 years. And then I had a little short time in Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico as well, which was awesome. But I got a really disturbing phone call while I was in Mexico that my mom got the C word. And I packed up my bags and came back to Toronto. I was coming back and forth anyway a lot because I was doing music and dance here and in California and anywhere in the world, really. And I rushed home and I stayed with my mom. And unfortunately, she passed away 2 years ago. And I was kind of in limbo. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know if I was going to stay. I love my hometown of Toronto, but I just was my art kind of took me around, took me away from here. But it brought me back. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then I met my husband, who's Brazilian, but he and I decided to set roots here, and that's how I met your wife.
That's right. So I'm sorry to hear about your mom, but I guess in one sense, you got to meet your husband, and now you've planted your roots here again, where you were, brought up. And
I love Toronto, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's the best city in the world as far as I'm concerned. But
yes.
So we all have challenges, right? we all have challenges in our businesses, and every entrepreneur I talk to, myself included, have challenges almost every single day. Let us know what one of your biggest challenges was while getting into this career.
Let down, I guess you could say. Hearing the word no, which some hear more than others. I've heard it, of course, in my time, and I still hear it. So that's kind of, a little bit of you have to pick yourself back up again. I always do, and people around me also help me very much so to get over those rough times. I would say mostly competition. Like sometimes people are very cutthroat in my industry. I'm not that cutthroat person. I'm strong, and I'm like strong-headed, and I know what I want. However, I won't trample on you to get that gig. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I get trampled on sometimes. So I think that is kind of a blow every now and again. You just kind of pick yourself back up and continue on. The entertainment industry is one of the most competitive industries, and sports as well. And I'm in both those fields. So sometimes we run into that. But the reward of doing what I love and being able to share my knowledge with other people, whether they be students or peers, and to entertain people and get that smile on people's faces, that outshadows the negative stuff. So
yeah, your challenges sound a lot like the real estate industry.
Yes.
and almost every other. It is a cutthroat world out there, and we all have that big no. Yeah, everybody says no. Everybody says no. I mean, I don't chase after business. I mean, that's not how I work. And it sounds like you don't really chase after business either, because
don't get me wrong. I got hustle. Sorry to interrupt you. I hustle, but I don't I'm not going to push everybody down to try and get on top of that. So I'm very physical too.
Well, obviously doing what you do, right? So maybe let me ask you. So before you started, if you can go back maybe to the way before you started, is there anything you would have done differently?
Before I started my company?
Yes.
I probably would have taken a business course. I did like general arts and science, and I went to School of the Arts, and I studied, art and stuff. But I think that knowing what I know now, I maybe would have delved into the business aspect a little bit more back then. So I kind of learned as I went along, and I'm okay. I'd say I'm okay at business, but I'm not, I'm not like stellar in the business field. I'm more the artist, right? And I tend to partner up with people that know the business side a little bit more, and I deal with the art and the creative side. But if I could go back, I think I would have maybe studied a little business, knowing if I knew that I was going to get into this industry and it's not just art, there's actual business behind it as well, and marketing, then maybe I would have gone back and studied a little bit more of that.
Well, everything you're talking about is a learnable skill. On top of that, there's also people that you can learn from and have them teach you and show you the right way. I mean, obviously there's a lot of accountants out there, a lot of business people that can actually help you to where you want to go. I mean, that's the good news, right? You don't really need to learn it per se, but you could learn, like you can learn anytime, right? So that's
right.
A good thing.
I could. And I do have a lot of family members that are like, I have a marketing genius in my family. I have an accountant in my family. So sometimes I will call and say, hey, if I were to do this, should I do that? And I kind of get the advice. So that's cool. I know they won't steer me in the wrong direction.
Beautiful. Well, that's important. That's important. Let's say that, tell me a story that you can, like, tell me a story of a time when you thought, wow, I'm making a big, huge difference.
Okay. I have lots of stories, I must say. However, I'm going to go to the Veterans of Canada. They are at Sunnybrook Hospital. And I'm going to speak of them because we're in Canada right now, and I'm going to talk about a Canadian thing. So I go every, 6 months or so, and I perform there. And the look on these people's faces, you have no idea. The back and forth between me and this crowd is so unbelievable. I actually got a little emotional. I'm not like the most emotional in front of people, like as per like cry or anything like that. I'm not like that so much. But at one point, I wasn't living in Canada, and I came to visit, and I I taught a class to people that have body parts that have been blown off, okay, in the war, in wheelchairs and stuff. And I teach a little bit class and I do a show and I'm very interactive. The reaction is priceless. And I tell them, I got a little choked up one time. I'm like, I'm so proud to be Canadian and I'm so proud to be here and entertaining you, and the pictures and the warmth. It's just out of this world. And to see the smile on their face, because who knows what's going on, what their experiences has been over the last 50 years and what kind of trauma they've dealt with. And I got to, make them forget about all that and just be happy and enjoy. So that's definitely one that sticks out.
That sounds rewarding. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's imagine that I were to drop you on an island, okay? and there's no other dancers, no other entertainment industry, which is, I know, odd. Let's just imagine that there is no other entertainers out there. What would be the benefit of them using your services?
Well, if I'm the only one in town, if people have interest in the arts, well, they might come to me for default. However, I think that if I gave them a little sample, I would open up that side of them wanting to learn what I teach. Like, because it's so infectious. I put some music on, I put some Cuban music on, and I start to dance. People are like, "Ooh, I want to do that." Most people want to do that. So if I just gave them a little taste, I feel like they would come and learn with me, or at least let me entertain them. Some of my students tell me that, especially when it's cardio like Zumba, I do this class called World Dance Fit, which actually where I met Diana. And I like to entertain as I teach, right? Because it makes it more exciting. So I think if I did that on the island, being the only person and walking around with purple hair, I think people would be like, who's the girl with purple hair? I think that I'd be able to get people into learning from me in that avenue of my entertainment company anyways, because I don't know if music editing or video editing would really help anybody on this island that doesn't have any access to, well, I'm not saying that they don't have access, but maybe that wouldn't be the most forefront important thing in their universe at that moment. So I think that, I just show them and they'd be like, all right, let's do it.
Actually, this might be a really good time to maybe list all the different services they actually provide so people can be aware of it and maybe people can look you up and hopefully hire you.
Yes. So my Facebook, I have a music page and I have a dance entertainment choreography page. Azucar Picante is facebook.com/Azucar Picante Ent, E-N-T. There you'll find basically all the services in the dance area. Dance shows, I choreograph concerts, I choreograph weddings, I choreograph the first dance, I choreograph quinceañeras, birthdays. I choreograph for other dance companies. I choreograph for the national team and Olympic team of Canada. We go up to a level of rhythmic gymnastics that's world class. I also do average recreational, like no competition type thing. So from all scales of the dance, it's under Azucar Picante. Also, my music and editing, and video editing and photo editing is something I kind of picked up along the way because I had to do it so often. So I got pretty good at it. And being a musician as well, I kind of got the knack of, how to edit and produce some music. So people also come to me for that. For example, a fellow dancer might come to me to do their video demo because I'm a dancer and I understand what movements to capture to put on this demo. And because I'm musically inclined, if I edit the music that goes along with it, it kind of all fits into one. Whereas a videographer or a video editor, not to say that they don't know what they're doing, because obviously they do, but a lot of times when you edit for dancers, sometimes they miss key elements that for a dancer is important, but for a videographer, the lighting or whatever was better in that shot. You know what I'm saying?
So you have both worlds. I mean, you have the dance aspect. Yeah.
Both worlds. And then also Azucar Picante provides entertainment for a variety of things. We go from, Persian New Year to Beijing Triathlon, like to a local Toronto festival, Pan American Games. I'm doing Pan American Festival tomorrow. It's a broad spectrum. We travel all over the world to do that, and of course locally. Teria Morada music and fan page is something that I write melodies, I write music, I write lyrics more than anything. And people sometimes will, I have a song for you, or I wrote a song for you, or check this beat out, write some lyrics. And we end up putting all this music out on the internet, a lot of house music, a lot of Latin urban dance. Most of my stuff is in Spanish, although I sing in every language, like Armenian, Arabic, Greek, Italian, French, Portuguese. And but I don't put out music necessarily in those languages, but I will perform them live. I have some dear friends that are Persian, and I sing with them in Spanish, but I'll also sing backgrounds for them in Farsi. It depends on what's going on. And as for myself, I have some music out there on iTunes, and I've got to perform my music around. So I can also write a hook for you, or I can go in and sing backgrounds for you, or I can write you a song, which I've done a lot of in Los Angeles, as well as, you can just use my voice for a demo. I demoed something for Jennifer Lopez. I demoed something for Rihanna, things like that. So that's another facet of my company, but I split the two, like the artist and the company, kind of apart. But we are, there have been times where in California I starred in Moulin Rouge, for example. I was the choreographer of Moulin Rouge. I was the lead dancer, and I was also the singer. It just so happened that I got to combine all those things together, which was fantastic, and hire my friends that are phenomenal performers and collaborate with them and put on shows with them.
That's amazing. So you must know some pretty fancy people.
You know what? I do know some fancy people. The funny thing is, people don't know this because I sign a lot of disclosures, right?
Yeah.
I entertain the fancy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's a movie premiere or Axl Rose has a Halloween party.
Wow.
That's right. A lot of times they would hire us, and we would go, like the Rock, the Rundown. That movie, the movie premiere, we were the entertainment. We did samba, we did capoeira. I sang one of my songs there, and we were the performance at like the movie screening at Universal. So a lot of times I perform for those celebrities, and people go, my students ask me, "Are you famous?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to answer that. Do I sign autographs? Yes. Do I get stopped on the street? Hell no. But sometimes. But depends on where I am. But it's like, what is fame? Like, what is that? Exactly. I perform for the celebrities. What makes them a celebrity? Because their bank account's larger than mine? I don't know. Like, it's just it's a fine line, and that's the way it is. But yes, I do know a lot of people, or I've met a lot of people. Later on, at the end of our interview, I'm going to take you for a walk around my home studio, and I'll flash you some photos and trophies and stuff, because it's all displayed around me. My mom do that for me. And when I moved back to Toronto, I kind of kept that. Some stuff had been in boxes for like 15 years, but I pulled it all out and I displayed it in my studio.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I look forward to that. So let's go off topic a little bit from dancing and entertainment. Is there any kind of internet resources, or maybe some apps or anything that you could not live without?
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm on social media every day. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have everything connected. So if I post a thing on Instagram, it goes to all my social media, which I feel is a very important part of me staying in the loop of what I do. So definitely my social media apps. There's also like music, like Spotify. My husband and I are really big on Spotify. I'm actually on Spotify. That was a trip to find out that I'm on Spotify, or on Shazam. And when we drive in the car, he's like, "Babe," in Portuguese, he's Brazilian, so he says to me in Portuñol, put some music on. And I'm like, boom, straight to the Spotify. Which playlist do you want? So that's kind of like our off time, together time. We do that. That app is definitely very important. And I also have like a service, Gig Salad, that I'm on, that books me a lot of gigs. I can't live without out too, because they book me all the time. So that's also fantastic. Connects me with people all over.
Oh, it's amazing. That's amazing. Is there any kind of book or quote that book you've read, or quote that you live by, that's helped mold you to who you are right now today?
Yes. The book, The Four Agreements, I read many years ago when I first moved to Los Angeles. It kind of helped me figure out some things about life. And the typical dance like no one's watching, sing like no one's listening. That typical, like, it's a lot of people have it in their homes in a painting or in a picture format. A lot of people have given me that in cards. Like laugh like what is it? There's another one that's not pertaining to art. It's sing like no one's listening, dance like no one's watching. And there's another one about there's another see, no, I don't notice that one because it doesn't have anything to do with art, but anything to do with my art and my passion, like I will maybe not live by, but I will take it in at the moment, and like it'll go in the memory bank. But definitely the one thing that sticks out the most, the laws of attraction and the four agreements.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much finished with questions. I don't know, maybe if you want to give us that tour, that'd be fantastic.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to turn the camera around really quickly. Okay. Sorry, that's a light. There's me. These are some trophies and things and plaques. I have a lot of memory stuff, competition plaques. This Brazilian place I used to work at in California had me on their poster. I have a lot of things. I have about 75 gold medals. They're right there. And I think I have 12 silver and 8 bronze.
Wow.
And my latest accomplishment, you see right there, there's a picture of me. They created an award called the Caliente Award. I competed at my students competition, the adult category, and they gave me a Pure Inspiration Award. You can see it right there. And then they created an award called the Caliente Award. There's a picture of me performing there. That was cool. That was last summer.
That's
so
amazing.
I still compete sometimes. Here's some flags of some of my heritage. My husband's flag there. Spain, Mexico, Italy, Greece, Brazil. This is a picture from Korea. I performed there for 4 months. That's me in high school. I love that shot. And then we have some trophies. This is the latest thing I've received, which is Entertainer of the Year 2017, Latin Entertainer of the Year, Woodbine Cahan Productions. That's the latest, the big trophy. It's actually kind of big, yeah. I gotta turn it around. But there's like trophies from 9 years old to now, basically. And then memorabilia I've collected around the world. This is a priceless thing. My first concert ever.
Amazing.
The Victory Tour. Michael Jackson and the brothers signed that Pepsi can. Look at that.
Wow.
1984, yo. And then these are like pictures of, this is like flyers. I was starring in a musical last year, so there's the poster. And there's like some concerts, BB King's I performed at in California. There's the musical again. And just like various, here I sang in Armenian. My, rest in peace, my boy Robert passed away in October. This is an Armenian concert on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles where I sang in Spanish, English, my own music, and sang in Armenian, Arabic, and Greek with Mr. Robert Chilingiriano. And these are just pictures of me as a kid. My mom used to post all this stuff and like performance pictures all over the world. This is like a shrine kind of thing. One of my dancers saw it the other day. He was like, "Are you kidding?" This is like VIPs and backstage pass and like backstage access to many shows that I performed in, like Snow, Enrique Iglesias. Yeah, like that's just a little picture of Al Pacino on the bottom. Why not? And there's just like and when I was living in Guadalajara, Mexico, an Odissi dance school, they say that I am the pioneer of Bollywood, Bhangra, and Bellywood fusion. In Guadalajara, they were a classical Indian dance school that they had never seen Bollywood or Bhangra before. So I went over there and taught. So they called me the pioneer. Here's some more photos. And then we're getting into some costumes. We're getting ready for costumes for shows tomorrow. So they're kind of spread out everywhere right now. My husband made me this costume closet out of wood. I was sitting in that chair. That's my makeup table. Look at that.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to turn the camera back around. Yes.
Wow, I just can't believe how much you've been around, like all the different places, all the different people you've worked for, and that's pretty amazing. I actually feel privileged to talk to you and to have you in our city and have you so close by to us, and I get to share you on all our feeds and stuff. So that's great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you already gave us the Facebook page. I'm definitely going to post it on the links. Maybe is there a phone number wherever anybody can reach you?
Yes. 1-888-250-5519. That's my business line. If you press 1, it'll try and go straight to my cell phone. And you can either leave me a message or I'll answer the phone. There are my website like teriamusic.com is under construction, so I'm kind of rerouting everybody to my social media. Teria Fans, if you put that in, like TeriaFanz or Z, under my Twitter, under my Reverb Nation, under my Instagram, they're all under Teria Fans. Same with my Facebook music page. But Azucar Picante, if you Google my name, Teria Morada, or Google Azucar Picante Entertainment, a whole slew of things will come up there. I'm teaching salsa in Scarborough at 7 p.m. on Monday nights, level 1 Los Angeles salsa at Mind Body Soul Studios. And I teach at Express Fitness Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday mornings in Thornhill, and Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. in Scarborough. And I also teach gymnastics, and I teach at Charm Dance Academy as well. I teach all over the city, basically.
That's incredible.
I love it, though. I go from all over town, and I'm teaching all kinds of different people, and it's awesome.
You know, after so many interviews, I mean, when you have the passion, when you have it inside you, and it's what you love to do, it doesn't matter how long you do it. It's just, you never get tired. You never get tired. That's incredible.
I also, my grandmother, who is very ill right now, we thought my grandmother would be one of those people that live well over 100, as her mother did. My grandmother's been super healthy. Both my grandparents look like they're in their 60s, but they're 92 and 93. Their physical appearance is one thing, like they look so young, but the way that they have so much energy and dance up until now and stuff like that, I get that from them. So I think that I have already a natural source of high energy. Pair that with the fact that I love what I do, and it's a pretty powerful combination, I think. So I'm super, super lucky.
Oh, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the show, Teria, and I wish you all the best, and keep forward, keep the high energy going, and life will treat you well. So, thanks again for being on the show, and we will talk again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.